How's it going, everyone? My name is Benjamin Blackwell, and you are watching the Ben is Flying vlog. So I have some great news to share with everyone. As of last Friday, I received my instrument rating airplane license. So all of my work, all of my studying, everything I've done to prepare for this check ride has paid off, and I'm super excited. I'm super relieved. A huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders obtaining this instrument rating. And the check ride itself went pretty well. So with this vlog, I just kind of want to share how the check ride went, everything that happened during the check ride, some mistakes I made and how I recovered from them, but overall, what happened in the check ride. So I went to the airport at 8:30 a.m. and the check ride started at 9 a.m. So I got there a little early, laid out all the books, all the materials that I had that I thought I would need during the oral portion of the check ride. And I just set up and I waited for Arnold Thormeyer, the DPE, designated pilot examiner, to show up and get things going. So the check ride started off pretty well. What we did is, with all check rides, what you do is you just present to the DPE your logbook, any endorsements that you have to take the check ride, and anything pertinent to the check ride that he might need, and also such as like the written exam that I took last month. So I gave that to him, he looked through it, and I just kind of sat back, let him do his thing, presented it in a nice way. I made sure I had my logbook tabbed up with all the total times that I needed for that check ride to meet the requirements to take it. So we started the oral portion of the check ride, and how Arnold likes to do the check ride is you give them the ACS that you provide, and he says, okay, name or just tell me one of the skills required, one of the knowledge portions, and one of the risk management, or actually all of the skills. So you just go through it page by page and you tell them what you know. And in the check ride or in the oral portion, you'll kind of, if you don't touch on something, he might quiz you on it. But once he knows that you know it, then you move on from that portion and you go to the next page. So it was about the second page for the weather portion. I touched on everything that I wanted to, and he was satisfied. We went to page 3, which is it was the cross-country portion of the ACS. So he said, all right, show me the flight plan that you've created for this flight. So 2 nights before that, he assigned me a flight plan or a cross-country flight to go from Fort Worth Meacham and down to Austin. And so I had to plot out and do all the math of, how much airspeed am I gonna have with the headwinds, how much fuel do I have, what's the ETA of the flight, everything pertinent to that flight I had to show and calculate that I've done it. So I just laid it out in front of him and just went through it, and he said, all right, tell me from... So then he just said, all right, walk me through the flight from taking off to landing. So I just walked him through the flight, told him what we need to do to depart. We'd have to get a clearance to leave under IFR, and we would take off, probably get runway heading, and go on our route. So the route that I chose to fly incorporated a standard instrument departure and a standard arrival. So they're called SIDs and stars. So the SID is the departure, the star is the arrival. So basically what they do is it's a predetermined route that the FAA and ATC have thought of. No. So what a SID and star is, it's a predetermined route that the FAA and, that's Luna by the way, that the FAA and ATC made so that it streamlines IFR aircraft going out, it lessens the workload of the pilot and air traffic controllers. So it's really ideal to fly with a SID and star if it's offered, because it just lessens the workload for everyone and makes the flight a little easier. So I walked him through that. There's certain speed restrictions, certain altitude restrictions you must fly with a SID and star. And I walked him through the approach, which approach I would use, what alternate I would need if we couldn't make the approach into Austin, which I chose San Marcos, and San Marcos Regional. And it went well. He said, all right, I think you touched on a lot of things, and he asked me some other questions to quiz me on other portions I didn't talk about. And that was pretty much the oral. It lasted about an hour, hour and a half, mixed in with his stories and everything, and I was really happy. It was a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be, which was a little relief for me, because I thought it was going to be a longer oral, because most check rides like this usually are longer orals. And but it went really well, and I was really excited. And he said, all right, so now is for the flight portion. So we took a little bit of a break, and then we briefed the flight portion. So the flight portion was to leave Fort Worth Spinks, go to Cleburne, shoot an approach there, which was the first approach that we shot was the RNAV 15 into Cleburne. So that went well. Or before I go into that, so shoot the RNAV 15, go missed, do a hold, and then have an EFC time, expected further clearance time, and then shoot the localizer 15 approach, and then off of that go missed, and then come to, sorry, there's a train, then after that go missed and shoot the RNAV approach into Fort Worth Spinks. So everything was good. We agreed that that was a good flight. So I walked out to the plane and did the pre-flight, said that plane's good to go, and he said, all right. We got in, and it went really well. So I just set up the radios and GPS for the flight, took off, and got vectors for the RNAV 15 at Cleburne, shot it, came back around and did the localizer 15. But before that, we did a hold, and with the expected further clearance time, he simulated a loss of comms, that a radio failure happened. So with that, you pretend that the radio failed. With the EFC time, it's a time given by ATC saying, all right, if the radio fails, you're cleared to do the approach. We're going to protect this environment until you land and call us and say, hey, I'm on the ground. And it just gives you permission to do the approach. So did the hold with the EFC time, came in, did the localizer, and with the localizer approach, we simulated a vacuum failure. So the vacuum system in this plane, it gives power to the gyroscopic instruments for the attitude indicator and the directional gyro. So simulating that the attitude indicator is out and the directional gyro is out, I just had to use the magnetic compass and the turn coordinator. So that was a little difficult, but I trained for it pretty well with my instructor, and it went well. And then after that, we went missed, or we did a touch and go, and then we went missed on the published missed, and went to Fort Worth Spinks and finished the check ride for the RNAV, what was that, 17 right. I'm super excited that, all my preparation was adequate enough for me to pass, and it proved to myself that, studying and working hard for a goal pays off, because it paid off. I achieved the instrument rating airplane. So looking forward, I am jumping right into my commercial add-on. So since I have a glider commercial, I can just do an add-on commercial for my single engine land commercial. So I have to get 10 hours of complex time. So it's an airplane that has flaps, retractable flaps, a retractable landing gear, and a constant speed prop. So I'm going to be doing that training in a Debonair. I have to get 10 hours in a complex aircraft, and then I have to do a long cross country, which I hope to go down to Houston and then Kingsville and come back probably in 2 weeks. So sorry about that. So I'll be doing that in 2 weeks, but I'm excited. I'm looking forward to getting the commercial, and after that, jump right into CFI training. So if you haven't already subscribed, make sure to push that subscribe button, like this video, and be tuned to see more videos and vlogs about my commercial pilot training. Thanks for watching. See you later.